At Intuit, one of our primary goals when creating our products is ease of use and speed to complete a task, like creating a tax return. We have found that many of our customers overlook fast keyboard navigation when using Lacerte. This course will acquaint you with some of the keyboard features that will save you time when creating tax returns. There is a downloadable Quick Start card in PDF format that you can save and print as a quick reference for the most frequently used keyboard shortcuts. Let's start our discussion from when you first open the program. When you open the program, it opens to the last module used, which may be different than the tax type of the client you want to work on. To change tax types, you can select Client, Tax Type, and then select the tax type you want to switch to. You may notice these keyboard shortcuts on the drop-down menu. So to quickly switch tax modules from the keyboard, as opposed to grabbing the mouse and going to the menu bar, from the keyboard press Ctrl-Alt, and then the first letter of the module you want to switch to. For example, Ctrl-Alt-S takes you to the S-Corp module, Ctrl-Alt-I takes you to the individual module, and so on. You can look at the Quick Start card for all the keyboard shortcuts. Let's look at the individual module. This is where I will show these shortcuts, but please note that the shortcuts we look at here can be used within the other tax modules in Lacerte. Locating a client's record quickly to start our data input can save time. In the list of your client files on the Clients tab, the first column is the column that is sorted. For this example, we have the full name as our sort column. To find a client quickly, just enter the first letter of the last name, and the program will jump to that portion of the client list. Let's say I want to find John Jones. If I type the letter J, the outline box jumps to the first client that has a last name starting with a J. I could continue typing the last name to continue jumping to that client. My client list has very few clients, but you can see how this feature allows you to easily find a client. If you did not notice, when I began to type the last name, this search field shows what I've typed. If you need to look for a different client, press the Escape key and then begin typing the last name to be taken to that portion of the client list. Next, I want to show how to select more than one client file so we can perform the same action on that set of clients. That action could be to e-file returns, print hard copies of returns, update the status, or any other action that results in a time savings by performing that action to many client files at once. On the Clients tab, click the first client file to be selected. Now, while holding down either the Control button or the Shift button, you can use the mouse to select more clients that you need to perform this action to. Now, whatever action I take will be done to all the highlighted clients. Another way to select clients from the Clients tab is to use the Group Select dialog box by selecting the F3 key on your keyboard. The dialog box opens and you can select any of the variables by selecting the radio button next to the description and defining the criterion to be used. If I leave that section to All Clients, then select OK, all the clients will be selected. Now let's move into the Detail tab to look at some of the time-saving keyboard tricks here. First, let's look at the table of contents. You can quickly navigate to an input screen by using the number pad on your keyboard and entering that number adjacent to the screen name in the table of contents. If I type 10, screen 10 is now highlighted and pressing Enter will open that data entry screen. If I type 59, Amended Return Input screen is now highlighted. Once the screen is highlighted, selecting Enter opens that screen. You can also navigate within the table of contents screen by using the arrow keys on the keyboard. The up and down arrow moves the highlight up and down within the columns, and the left and right will move you between the columns on the table of contents. Another shortcut is the Escape key. The Escape key takes you up one level. If I press the Escape key when I'm in an input screen, I will move up one level to the Contents screen. While pressing Escape again, I will be taken to the Clients tab. Now that you know how you can quickly navigate the table of contents by using the keyboard, let's look at navigating via the keyboard to the input screens. As various detail screens get completed, you will notice that the corresponding tab is added across the bottom of the screen. To navigate to these active tabs via the keyboard, hold down the Control button and use the arrow keys. You can navigate back and forth to active detail screens. Using Control and the left and right arrows will move the display to the next tab in that direction. If you want to navigate between the main tabs, the Clients, Detail, Forms, or Diagnostics tabs and so on, hold down the Alt button on the keyboard and use the right and left arrow keys to switch between them. You can also navigate to these tabs by holding down the Alt key and then pressing the corresponding letter. For example, C for the Clients tab, D for the Details tab, F for the Forms tab, and so on. Now let's take a look at a useful detail menu tool that will save you time within some specific detail input screens. Under the Detail menu dropdown on the menu bar, you will see you can add, delete, cut, copy, and paste properties. You will also see the associated key combinations where that action has a key combination. This tool can be used to copy and paste properties and can be used on these input screens: Screen 16, Business Income; Screen 17.1, Dispositions; Screen 18, Rental and Royalty Income; Screen 19, Farm Income; and Screen 20, Pass-Through K1s. For example, if you wanted to copy an item on Screen 17.1, you will just select the line in the grid, then on the menu bar select the Detail drop-down menu and select Copy Property. Next, press Ctrl-A to add a new line to the grid, and then select the Detail menu again and select the Paste option. Note, the Windows copy-paste key combinations do not work in Lacerte for this process. The menu selections must be used. If you're on a data entry screen where this functionality is not available, these options will be grayed out in the drop-down menu. Next, let's look at the Forms tab. Navigation from the keyboard can be convenient and fast and will save you time as opposed to stopping to grab the mouse if your hands are already on the keyboard. Using the Page Up and Page Down keys on the keyboard will scroll up and down on the page of the form you're currently viewing and will automatically move to the next page of the form if it has multiple pages. It will also move to the next form generated in the return when you reach the bottom or top of the page of the current form. Just like the Detail tab, holding the Control button while pressing the left or right arrow keys will navigate the tabs across the bottom of the screen, which is similar to using the Page Up and Page Down keys, but the difference is you will be moving from page 1 to page 1 of each form instead of paging through all of the pages of a form before moving to the next form. Our last tip for this session has to do with setting the default form to view when going to the Forms tab. Our research has found that many tax preparers prefer to start their review of the client's completed tax return at the tax summary page. This page gives you a year-over-year comparison of the return. However, our default page is page 1 of the tax form of the module you are in. If you would like to set the summary page or any other page for that matter, do the following steps in each tax module that you would like to change the default page viewed. Go to the Forms tab of the tax module you want to change. Click on the page you want to set as default. Then go to the View on the Program menu bar, and in the drop-down menu near the bottom, select Make Current Form the Default Form Viewed. Again, you must repeat these steps in each of the tax modules to change the default form viewed when going to the Forms tab. This is the end of the instructions on using some of the keyboard shortcuts. You should now be able to navigate the tax program efficiently by using these shortcuts. Be sure to print the Quick Start card for easy reference.